What up, everybody? Raising Kanan Season 3, Episode 6. After Lou told Famous to let the truth set you free, he decided to go home and come clean to Kanan about Rock putting the gun in his backpack. And the truth, in a way, somewhat did set Famous free because he didn't want to be in the game selling drugs with Kanan in the first place. That's why the same day Rock came and put the gun in Kanan's bag, Famous just finished disconnecting the phone when Kanan left so he wouldn't have to take any more calls. And as a result of coming clean and telling Kanan the truth, Kanan put Famous out of their apartment. And as a result, Famous was able to work things out with his mom and move back in with her. And we know from episode 1 of this season that is what Famous has really wanted all along. But unfortunately for Famous, when he showed up at the apartment to get the rest of his things, he walked in on Ronnie sitting with Paul with a gun in his hand. Then before Famous was able to get his things and go, Ronnie and Kanan walked back into the apartment, intimidating Famous. This was because Kanan told Ronnie that Famous likes to run his mouth. So Famous's introduction to Ronnie wasn't a pleasant one at all before going home to his mother's house. Episode 8, Famous kept his distance from Kanan and Ronnie and stayed away from them. Famous went to Lou's bar just to find out that Lou was in the wind and asked Shirley if he could use Lou's studio while Lou was gone. Shirley agreed under the condition that Famous had to help her out at the bar. Episode 8 was business as usual for Kanan and Ronnie, moving their work and meeting up with Snaps and Pop. Ronnie also took care of the CPS officer, Miss Walsh, by threatening her after she showed up at Kanan's apartment, giving him 24 hours to get back home. Notice this was another one of Rock's attempts to control Kanan and get him out the game and back home. Keep in mind the reason Miss Walsh showed up in the first place, saying she got a call from Kanan's mother saying he hasn't been home for days. Now, we also got to ask the question, did Kanan tell Ronnie about Rock putting the gun in his bag, getting him in trouble at school, and having to deal with the CPS, and also that Famous watched her do it? If Kanan did tell Ronnie everything, that could be a big reason why he treated Famous like he did the first time. Or possibly he didn't even tell Ronnie that until Ronnie dealt with Miss Walsh, meaning Ronnie's going to have a serious problem with Famous the next time he sees him. Episode 7, Ronnie made the mistake of inviting Juliana over to Unique's house where he's now living. And Vanessa walked in to get some of Jerome's things when she saw Ronnie and Juliana together on the couch. And it was at this time that Juliana might have foreshadowed her own fate, saying, "It's not good for people to see us together." Keep in mind she did some shady stuff herself, cutting her cousin Joaquin out and working directly with Ronnie. And that's the whole reason why Joaquin gave Rock the go-ahead to smoke Juliana. Assuming that he did in fact give her the go-ahead, even though they didn't show us that part on camera. So there's still a small chance that Rock went ahead and smoked Juliana without getting the final go-ahead from Joaquin, which could cause more problems moving forward also. But now that Rock has killed Juliana, this leaves Ronnie in a bad position. He has no plug, he owes money to Snaps and Pops, and he is basically now in an even worse position than he was when he first got out of prison. Keep in mind Ronnie's whole attitude when he got out of prison. He had a one-track mind focused on getting back to business. So now that Ronnie got back to work, had a solid plug making money, to have that taken away from him, Ronnie's craziness might just go to another level. Most likely Ronnie will already know that Rock either killed Juliana or had something to do with her death. But he will definitely be able to confirm that the next time he talks to Snaps and Pop, when they tell him that Rock came to talk to them about leaving Kanan alone. So because of this, Ronnie will go around shaking some trees to find out how Rock found out that Ronnie was working with Kanan. And most likely because of what Kanan told him about Famous already, Ronnie's going to blame Famous, thinking that he went running his mouth to Rock. But keep in mind that it wasn't Famous, but Jukebox who went and told Rock everything. But the episode 9 trailer shows Ronnie choking Famous out against a wall. I also saw Ronnie promo where he's punching someone in the stomach, and it definitely looks like it's the same scene, punching Famous in the stomach. We can also tell this is taking place in Kanan's apartment. Again, this got me asking the question, why would Famous even go back over there after how Ronnie treated him last time when he went to go get his stuff? I wouldn't have went back over there ever, personally. So this makes me think that Kanan could be in on it by calling Famous over for whatever reason, only for Famous to get greeted by Ronnie, choked, and questioned about talking to Rock. Episode 7, we also learned that Famous still has the strap he killed Freddy with. So what are the chances that going back over to Kanan's apartment, Famous is going to bring his strap with him, knowing what happened with Ronnie last time? Then also keep in mind how Famous killed Freddy. He got scared and shot him. When Famous is faced with the fight or flight scenario, we see that he will fight. So what are the chances that while Ronnie is choking out Famous, Famous reaches in his pocket, grabs the strap, and kills Ronnie? Now, I don't think that will happen. Maybe wishful thinking. But at the end of the day, it is still definitely a possibility. At the same time, there's also a chance that Ronnie will choke out Famous and kill him. Keep in mind the fact that Kanan names his son Sean after Famous could definitely mean that Famous is already dead before 94 when Sean was born. But if Famous is able to convince Ronnie that he didn't talk to Rock and Ronnie lets him live, will Ronnie turn his attention then to Jukebox? But keep in mind the first time that Ronnie told Kanan he would talk to Jukebox, Kanan had to put Ronnie in his place, letting him know that he's never going to talk to her. So if Ronnie were to come at Jukebox crazy, he would be sealing his own fate. Because you got Kanan, Marvin, and Rock would all be coming after Ronnie at that point. Not to mention, we already know that Juke is going to turn into a straight savage before it's all said and done. I also noticed in episode 8 that Kanan is now strapped. We saw him grab his piece when Miss Walsh, the CPS officer, was knocking at his door. And wrapping up with the question, will Ronnie kill Panessa? Keep in mind how he threatened her in episode 6, telling her she's all Jerome has left. If he finds out that Rock found out about Juliana through Panessa, she could definitely be the next body added to Ronnie's list. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.